Hey everybody, Mandus here with Maximum Muscle Report. We're at the 2018 North Americans. Pittsburgh, fellas, this is now the headquarters for bodybuilding, has been for a long time. You come to a Gary Udich show, you never know who you're going to run into. We had all the men's physique superstars here a couple nights ago. Look who we ran into tonight. George. Man, how you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. You know, when your prep is going so well, it just, no matter how hard it is, it just gives you that motivation to keep going, and it makes you just feel good on the inside. And when you feel good on the inside and you feel good mentally, your body, just follows and everything just clicks, and that's what this prep has been like.
I got to tell you, Justin here told me a few secrets a few minutes ago. We were sitting there watching the show. I cannot believe some of the things he told me. I bet you got to be feeling good. I've seen some pictures, but considering you put on a whole lot more muscle, and I don't know where the hell you fit it, and you're going to be bigger, harder, and just as conditioned or more conditioned than last year, obviously you're not playing around.
Oh, that's the name of the game. The name of the game is no games. We're not playing any games. We're 100% serious about this Olympia prep because we honestly believe we have what it takes to take that Olympia title. Where we are right now is far, far better than where we were at this same time last year getting ready for the 2017 Olympia. And then to come off that Olympia with a top 3 finish, and now we're looking even better, we expect even better results.
Justin, give us an idea, Coach Justin Miller. Those of you who don't know, you should know.
One and only.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been saying now for the last couple of years, for those who are sleeping out there or living under a rock, this is one of the best coaches in the world. Hands down, no doubt. Justin, what did you guys do besides taking the year? Because everybody now at the top takes the year. But what the heck did you guys do to be able to make those type of changes? He's not new to the game. It's not like this is a kid who just got his pro. He did just get his pro card a few years ago, but who's just been coming up and has tons of room to improve. He was already really, really good. How do you continue to make those kinds of changes?
I think the improvements that you see in George come from, I would say, first of all, his mindset. He's got a really, really strong work ethic. He hasn't missed a meal or a workout since Vegas last year. That's, the truth. He hasn't cut any corners, and I think that actually taking the whole year off helped him a lot. Last year going into the 2017 Olympia, George had done 7 shows. The Olympia was his 7th show in an 11-month span. 2 as an amateur and then 5 as a pro, including the Olympia. And we devised a plan on the way back on the airplane. We were talking about it, and he's like, should we maybe do the Arnold, this and that? I said, no, you're already qualified. Let's take the whole year and improve. And I think you see the results in that because he didn't have to worry about, doing all these shows and all the stress on the body. He's just been focused on one thing. And he looks, like I said, he's about, 13 pounds bigger now than he was on stage. But his condition's about what it was on stage at last year's Olympia. And he didn't look like that 2 weeks out from last year. He looks a lot different now. He's better conditioned, but he's also 13 pounds bigger. So,
we talk about all the shows you did. George, you're a guy who was around years ago, and you left. You said, I'm done, made a comeback. Matter of fact, we did an interview at Nationals when you won.
Right.
What happened? What made you decide to make the comeback? I know you said when we did the interview it was classic, but what has you so motivated? And again, you're not a 20-something-year-old, but mentally and physically your body is alive. You're physically and mentally walking around and responding like a 20-something-year-old. How do you think you found this new revived energy and the ability to turn back the clock, so to speak?
Right. Well, like you said, I'm definitely not new to the sport. Actually, fun fact, I did this exact show. One of my last shows before I quote unquote walked away and retired was this exact show in 2013 where I got pretty much dead last. That was as a heavyweight bodybuilder. So and what really brought me back was when I saw the classic physique division. it made me feel like I could do well because I saw that there was weight restrictions that forced me to have to bring my weight down. But to me, a lot of guys probably feel like, oh, I'm going to lose muscle. That's going to be a bad thing. But I didn't feel that was going to be a bad thing for me. I felt like me causing my body to go down in weight was going to bring out those lines, that accentuate the small bone structure I have, the natural shape that my body has, as opposed to when I was trying to be a heavyweight bodybuilder. It was taken away from the aesthetics, of my physique, So that, and when I started working with Justin, and Justin believed in me, because a lot of other guys would have probably, would have been like, oh, you're a bodybuilder. No, you're not going to do classic. You do bodybuilder. But Justin said, what the hell? Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. You're either going to win first or you're going to get last. But I was at the point where it didn't matter. I just wanted to go there, look my best, and whatever happened, happened. And then we went on one hell of a run together. And when things became so successful right from the jump, it was such a mental recharge. And I was so happy to be back into the sport, and the way things happen really makes me believe that I'm meant to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be,
We're talking, Justin and I, a little bit ago about some of the men's physique guys making some changes. But the reality, the majority of your class are guys who are bodybuilders that are dropping down. Justin, how do you think somebody makes a decision based on their aesthetics? Because this division is about size and conditioning like bodybuilding, right, but you have to have that aesthetic flow. We already know George has got a pretty physique. But how do you assess, or what would you talk to a bodybuilder, a classic physique guy about to really tell him, hey, maybe this move is great for you, maybe it's not so great for another guy?
I think in the classic physique, I think classic physique and bodybuilding shape matters, okay? It's still bodybuilding classic, right? It's classic bodybuilding.
Correct.
But since you have a height weight restriction, if you have bigger hips, if you have bigger bone structure, if you have a big frame, you're probably better off going for the open bodybuilding, because what happens is you're going to, pound for pound, stand next to guys if you really take a good look at George's physique, his hips are about like this wide. You know what I mean? He's got tiny little hip structure. He's got tiny little joints, whenever he squats, a lot of weight. I mean, he'll put on over 500 pounds on the bar sometimes, and he'll wrap his knees. And we always joke, like when I first was sort of watching him wrap his knees, and he was dieting, he was lean, there was all this weight on the bar. I'm like, is this a good idea? Because the knees are like, it's like my wrist. It's like really, really tiny. So I would say that you have to be realistic, and the coaches should be realistic with the people when they come to them. But I think classic's for everybody. I mean, if you really want to do it, even if you have a bigger bone structure, then do it. If you like the height weight restriction and that suits your lifestyle, that's cool. And it's funny, you hear a lot of people talk about, especially when we first got started, well, George isn't classic, right? And now you have guys like Regan Grimes that have dropped down, other bodybuilders that are successful. So it's like now it's a little more common. But last year, George was so muscular, people would look and say, well, he's not classic, he's too muscular. But if you when you break it down and you look at the top 5 at last year's Olympia, George is the only guy that's a true classic, meaning you have Arash, who was a men's physique, who grew and bumped up to classic, right? You have the other 3 top 5 competitors who were all turned pro as bodybuilders. George was the only guy that actually turned pro as a classic physique competitor. He's one of the only top guys in the world that actually turned pro as a classic. So, he is classic. And it's a division that physique guys that have legs, that they can. Why can't a physique guy be a great men's physique competitor, and then change his shorts and be a great classic physique competitor? Why not? Why can't a guy like George be a great 212 bodybuilder or an open bodybuilder or something? If he wanted to, he could. I think that you're finding that the quality, at least that I noticed, over the last few years, I don't know if it's the onset of classic or what's going on, but the quality in the physiques throughout the division seems to be really taking a big turn up.
I've said it a lot of times recently. I think over the next 5 years now, and over the next 5 years, the majority of the young talent is going to be going to Classic Physique.
Absolutely.
So you're going to see a massive surge of talented athletes go to Classic. And then when there's a log jam, you're going to see some of them have to make a shift.
And it makes sense. Like, you're not going to have a guy that's, okay, I'm going to start bodybuilding. Okay, let's jump into the open. Because there's an evolution. You probably have to pass that classic weight limit somewhere along the way anyway.
Right.
So why not jump in the classic on the way?
George, let's wrap this thing up, man. Let's wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Give something to all the young cats out there and all the hopefuls to be great in Classic Physique. I'm going to hand you the mic and kind of let you give your words of wisdom on how you got here, what you think it's going to take for them. And let's finish off with your prediction for this year's Mr. Olympia Classic Physique champion.
All right, well, for all the young hopefuls out there who are aspiring to, join the Classic Physique ranks, my number one advice is be yourself. Know who you are. Know your physique. Don't try to be anything you're not. That's the great thing about Classic Physique. One of the poses that you give you is a classic pose of choice. That's your opportunity to really express yourself the way you want to be expressed. You don't have to hit a shot just because maybe your favorite bodybuilder hit that shot, because it may not look as well for you. But express yourself the way you feel you'll be seen the best. And just keep following through and take your time. Take your time. There's no rush. A lot of you guys are so young. I talk to you guys all the time in the gym, 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old. And a lot of them always want to put a rush on their progress. Take your time. Your body has not even begun to mature yet. So just take the time, grow into into this division, and believe in yourself. Anything can happen.
Prediction. What do you see happening for this year's Olympia?
I could.
You want me?
I want it.
I could say, let me say this first. Obviously, if you're third in the world, you want to go there and take first in the world, right?
Right.
But we actually sat down and talked about this, and George's goal is not to win the Mr. Olympia.
Absolutely.
That's not the goal going in. We have two goals, and they're not to win. Obviously, he wants to win. Arash wants to win. All the other top guys, right. Breon wants to win again. All these guys want to win. But we don't have control over that. George can't control whether the judges say, okay, yeah, you're the winner. He can only control how great he shows up. So the goal, tell him what the goal is.
The goal is to step on that Olympia stage and make everybody in the audience say, George Peterson is amazing. That's the exact words that we want to leave in everybody's mind. Saying that, like Coach just said, the goal is not to win. However, we feel like if we do accomplish our goal of looking amazing, it will be hard for anybody up there.
That is as political an answer as you get, and obviously they put some thought into that one. That was a great way to get around it, but to also clearly send a message.
Yes.
George, as usual, pleasure.
Always.
You look fantastic, Justin.
Thanks,
Always
man.
great running into you, brother. Appreciate your guys' time. Till next time, guys. Classic Physique, superstar. You heard it, superstar. George Peterson, one of the best coaches out there. Justin Miller, Mandus Buckle, Maximum Muscle Report. We're out.